Hello everyone, today I'll be showing you how to digitize font using the manual Satin stitch function. So first, I'm just going to copy an image off of Google. This is a font logo of a very popular K-pop group. So first, I'm in Document Properties and changing the width and height to 4 by 4 inches. And then I pasted in my image from Google into Inkstitch. And now I'm adjusting the size. Remember that when you're adjusting the size to hold down the control button on your keyboard while you adjust. So once you have your image in the correct position, just lock the layer so that you can't click on it or move it. And I also lowered the opacity of the image. So first we're going to select on this tool right here, and then we're going to create a straight line. So I clicked on the bottom part of the B, and then now I'm going to go straight to the top and click again. And then once it's set, you just press enter. So now you're going to switch tools and click on this tool right here, and then copy and paste the lines and make sure that they're parallel with each other. So now we're going to switch back to this tool, and I'm going to create these lines, or they're also called rungs. These lines basically control which direction the satin stitch will go. Once that is done, we're going to select all of the layers. So I just click on the first path and then click on the last path while holding on to Shift, and then combine them together by going into Path and then Combine. Or on your keyboard, there's a shortcut. It will be just Control and K. Next, go to Extensions and open Inkstitch and then Params. So you'll see right now the stitches look weird. They're not a satin stitch. So go to Satin column and check the custom satin column box. And now you'll have a satin stitch. And make sure to click Apply and Quit. And that's it. So we'll continue these steps for the rest of the letters. So now we're going to continue for the curved part of the letter B. So just same as usual, just trace the outline. And once that is done, we're just going to make the nodes smooth so that they're rounded. So click on the node that you want to make rounded, and then click on this icon to make it smooth and round. You will also have to adjust the node a bit, so just click on the node and then click on the circle part to drag it and make it look right. And next we're just going to trace out the inner part of the B, so it's basically the same thing as the outer part, but just a little bit smaller. And now that the main part is done, we're just going to add another line in between to control the direction of the satin stitch. And then we're just going to combine all of these layers. Next, navigate to Params by going to Extensions, Inkstitch, Params. And then we're going to go Satin column and click on Custom Satin column. And you'll see that there's an error. Now the error is just because the rung was actually too short. So I'm just going to delete this and then just create a longer line in between the middle there. So yeah, when you're creating the rung, make sure that the line is long enough and covers both of your lines completely. And now you'll see that when you check the custom satin column box, it will now work. So since I want to work as efficiently as possible, I'm actually just going to copy and paste this top part of the B and place it at the bottom here. And you'll see that it's not quite matching the image. So I will have to make some adjustments, but I feel like that's a lot faster than creating the curved lines all over again. So I deleted the first node and I'm just adjusting the nodes again. And once I'm done, I'm going to go into Params to check how it looks. And this time you'll notice that the custom satin column is already checked off. That's because I copy and pasted from the top part of the B. Now that I'm done one whole letter, I'm going to click on the cursor icon and select all of the layers. And then I'm going to go Extensions, Inkstitch, and then visualize how it looks. And as you'll see, it's not bad, but the lower part of the B is not quite lined up with the bottom part. So I'm just going to redo this by adjusting some nodes. So now that I'm done adjusting the nodes, I'm just going to see how it looks again. And this time I think it looks better, so I'll just go with this. So we're done with the first letter, and now let's move on to the next letter, which is L. L feels a lot simpler, so I won't explain much and just let you watch what I did. So now I'm just going to visualize how it looks, and I actually want the vertical part of the L to be stitched out last. So I'm just going to move that part to the very top. That way it gets stitched out last. And I'm also going to reverse the paths of the two layers. So to do this, just go Path and click on Reverse. Okay, now that that is done, I'm going to move to the letter A. So once again, the letter A isn't too different from the other letters we've done. So I'll also fast forward this part, but if you need to slow it down a bit, you could definitely do that by going into the YouTube settings and changing the speed of this video. So the C is a little bit different from the other characters since there's more curves. I'll be going through this in more details. So first you have to change the mode to the one above. And next, as usual, you just trace out the outlines. So once that is done, we're just going to create a line in the middle again and select all our layers and go to Path and combine it all. And I'm not sure why, but when I combine it, the lines become all wonky and I couldn't figure out why. So in the end, I just had to go in and manually adjust the nodes again. I have a feeling it's something to do with using the spiral mode path, but I'm not sure the exact reason why that mode would cause this error. So if you know, please let me know down in the comments below. And next I'm going to move on to the letter K. To save time, I'm just going to copy and paste the vertical part of the letter L and paste it into this part of the K here so I don't have to redo it. So all I have to do now is just create the right part of the letter K. So to start, I'm just going to create two parallel lines, but the line to the righter edge should be a little bit longer than the one on the left. So I'm just going to adjust this line and pull it all the way down so it reaches the vertical part. letter P is quite easy since I already did the letter B. I'm actually just going to copy and paste some parts over. So for the B, I'm just going to copy and paste the vertical part and the top part of the B. And we can see that it almost fits correctly, but not quite. So this is very easy. I'm just going to adjust the nodes once more. Same thing for the letter I. Let's just save time and copy and paste the vertical part of the P to the I. And then for the N, let's do the same thing. Copy and paste the vertical parts for the left and right side of the letter N. And I was feeling extra lazy, so I just copy and pasted the left side of the letter A over to the middle part of the N. But it didn't quite match up. But once again, it's very easy to do. We just have to adjust the nodes and make sure it's parallel, and then we're done. Since I've already created a letter K, I'm just going to copy that and paste that here. And now I am done. And now for the rectangle around the logo, I'm just going to select the square tool and drag it across. I'm going to go fill and stroke and delete the fill. That way it only leaves the outline. And then I didn't really like how it looks, so I just deleted it and created a new rectangle around it. And then I'm just going to go to stroke style and change the width of it to match the image. In the end, I went up to around 2 millimeters. And then I go to extensions, ink stitch, and then I just convert a line to satin. So now that I'm done, I'm just going to visualize the whole entire thing. And then I realized that it jumped quite a bit, so I'm just going to adjust the layers again to ensure that the letters get stitched out from left to right in the correct order. So I just found the last K and I selected all of the parts and moved it to the top. So I realized I made a mistake. The K should not be at the very top. It should actually be under path 2 and 1 because that's the rectangle. The rectangle should be stitched out last. So I realized the rectangle is a little bit messed up. The top left and bottom right corners do not connect properly. So it's a very simple fix. We just adjust the nodes once more. So I'm just dragging these 2 nodes down. And I'm just dragging these 2 nodes up. And that looks correct now, so I'm basically done. but I'm just gonna adjust the auto trims so that it trims the thread each time the lettering moves on to the next letter. So to control the trims, go to Extensions, Ink Stitch, Satin Tools, and then Auto Route Satin Columns. And then trim jump stitches and apply. So I started doing this really weird thing for the letters K and also for the letter N. As you can see, it just jumps all the way to like the top left corner, and I have no idea why. And to be honest, the auto route satin columns, it never really worked that well for me. My machine still wouldn't trim it automatically. So I actually just gave up on this method completely. I just couldn't determine the cause. So my solution to fix the trims was just to convert every other letter to a different color. That way I don't have to trim the jump stitches each time. And now even though I'm changing every other letter to a different color, that doesn't mean I'll be actually doing that when I'm stitching it out. Everything will just be stitched out in the pink color. So to change the colors, just navigate to Fill and Stroke, and then for the stroke paint, select a different color. In my case, I decided to use red. So for the letter A, you'll notice that there's a jump stitch in between the right and left parts. For this, I'm actually going to use the auto route column. That way there'll be no jump stitch. So just select the letter A and then navigate to Extensions, Ink Stitch, Satin Tools, and Auto Route Satin Columns, and then apply it. And next I'm going to visualize this so that I know what it looks like. And then I realized that because of the auto route column, the letter A ended up moving to the very top of the layer and it ended up getting stitched out last. So I'm just going to fix that really quickly by moving that back to its correct spot. So I'm just going to select all these layers here and then group them. And I'm just going to find the letter L where it's located it. And now I'm just going to move this layer all the way down above the L. So I forgot to add the basting stitch, or I think it's called the tack down stitch. So I'm just going to create a rectangle, and then I open my params menu, and then for the running stitch length, I changed to 4 millimeters. And now I'm just going to move this to the very bottom because I want this to be stitched out first. And lastly, I'm just going to change the stroke color to black. And now I'm going to visualize and simulate this. And I'm pretty happy with how this looks. So now I'm just going to save it and then stitch it out. So to save, just go to File, Save As. Make sure to save it as a SVG file. That way you can make edits to it later on if you want to. And then make sure to save it again by going to File, Save As, and saving it as a PES file, or whichever embroidery format that your embroidery machine uses. So first I stitched out the basting stitch, and now I know where to put my piece of fabric over. So I'm just placing my fabric over the rectangle I just stitched out. Once it's on, I'm going to stitch out that rectangle again, so it will hold the fabric in place while it embroiders. Once that is done, I'm just going to stitch out the letters as normal. So this is my first try embroidering this out, so I would say it's not terrible. As you can see, the letter B and the border, there's like a few issues. The B is a little bit too thick, and then for the border, the white thread of the bobbin is showing up. So these issues are mainly just tension issues, I am assuming. So once I stitched out the letter B and L, I changed the tension and it definitely improved. Now I'm just cutting out the stabilizer. Now that the stabilizer is removed, I'm cutting out the excess felt, and I'm trying to cut as close as possible to the border. So that was my tutorial on how to digitize font using the manual satin stitch rung method. Please let me know if you have any questions, and thank you for watching.